best friends with an abusive narcissist for a very long time, and this is one of the last things she did that really ended our friendship. And it's not even something that she did to me, it's what she did to her sister. This girl lives out of state from me, and whenever I visit her, it tends to be quite an expensive trip. I just started a business, so for me it wasn't a responsible time to leave, as one, I was trying to build a clientele, and two, all of my financials were going toward my business and not really for leisure in that moment. She kept begging for me to come visit, and I told her on multiple occasions no, and instead of setting that boundary firm, she bought me a plane ticket and insisted that everything was going to be on her, which I should have realized was extremely manipulative, and I probably should not have gone. That part is a little less relevant to the story, but it just sets the tone of like how manipulative this girl could be and her getting her way all the time. Regardless, I was grateful I went on the trip. So she was always the kind of girl that like really wanted / needed all of the attention of whatever male in the room we were talking to wherever we were. And it's not something that ever bothered me, because I'm somebody who wants to like kind of more laid back, and if a man wants to approach me, they can. If not, no sweat off my back, I'm still gonna have a good time. Her younger sister was hanging out with us. She was living with her at the time, and we decided to go out and go on a walk. So as we're walking around, we stop at a park and we decide to hang out there. Her younger sister points out a guy and says how cute she thinks he is. My friend, being who she is, she says, okay, let's go talk to him. Let's go sit with him, and like we can sit around the park, no worries. And so we go sit next to this guy. It's really, really hot this day, and I had to wear like pants or something, so I was trying to sit in the shade. So I wasn't sitting exactly next to them, but I sat in the shade nearby and watched the whole thing go down. She's very outgoing, this friend, and so she's somebody who can easily break the ice with somebody, so she's a good like wingman to have, or so I thought. Everything's going great. I'm kind of eavesdropping a little bit and watching everything go down, but I'm realizing that my friend is talking to the guy the entire time, with her younger sister sitting in between, just kind of like awkwardly not in the conversation. Her younger sister's a little more shy, so she's not someone who's going to like interject or start saying her opinions necessarily. And my friend is somebody who likes to be center of attention. I hate to say it, like she loved being center of attention. So it was at times very difficult to get a foot in there, because it turned more into a competition anytime we were around men. It really started to bug me, because I'm sitting there and I'm watching as her younger sister, who actually likes this guy and thought he was cute, she's into him, yet the girl who is supposed to just kind of ease them into the conversation is now overbearing and talking to the guy, flirting with him, doing the giggle thing, touching him, laughing, and really not giving her a chance, like asking her any questions or finding a way to incorporate her into conversations. I kind of assumed that the roles reversed, and my friend ended up having chemistry with the guy, and then the younger sister was less interested just by the way things looked from the outside. And then at the end, I did hear him ask for somebody's phone number, and he didn't know which one to ask. Like, it was kind of awkward, and he's like, oh, I'll take like, you know, someone's phone number. And my friend interjected and gave her phone number to the guy, and that was that. So we're walking home from the park, and she starts lecturing her younger sister, like actually mad at her. And she's like, I can't believe that I had to give him my phone number. I didn't even want to talk to him. You're the one that said he was cute and wanted to talk to him, this and that. And all of it, like her younger sister kind of gets defensive, like, you didn't, like, I'm confused, like you were talking to him the whole time, like I barely had a second to interject. And she started saying like, I'm not as outgoing as you, like it's just not something that comes as easy to me, like I'm sorry. And she's apologizing, okay? And I'm sitting there like, my heart starts pounding because I'm getting pissed. And it just felt so wrong to me. So I interject, which is something that I really have never done ever to her before. And I was like, you know what? I was like, honestly, like you didn't even give her a chance to like jump in. Like you were kind of like flirting with that guy. Like you were giggling and touching him, and like from where I was sitting, it looked like you were interested in the guy. And you didn't give her a second to even interject to become part of the conversation. And she's like, well, she needs to learn how to interject, and she needs to learn how to socialize like me, and yada yada. And I'm just like in disbelief. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is how she is. She's gonna be a little shyer. Maybe next time when you're helping her talk to somebody, it would be better to break the ice, make an introduction, and then step away, because she's not somebody who's going to try and overpower you. That is something that's difficult to do because your personality is so big. It's very difficult to jump in and kind of act, you know, bigger than you, it's difficult, and no one's really trying to do that, you know? That's not a fun game that anyone wants to play. And frankly, if you weren't even interested in him, like, you didn't have to flirt like that. And she gets very defensive, guys. She gets angry. She gets a little defensive, and then she splurts out this line that I think is the funniest thing that she says, which she does say this all the time, and it's like so narcissistic. And that's, why should I dull my sparkle for somebody else? After she said, like, why should I dull my sparkle? It's like, okay, why would you sparkle for a man that you don't even want and outshine your sister, who now doesn't have the opportunity with this person because they thought you were flirting with them and they now have your phone number? Like, it blows my mind. And I could tell that, like, she wasn't seeing that and she didn't understand. And, like, the fact that she immediately thought that, like, we were trying to dull her sparkle by saying this feedback, just, it made me realize that this is something that's never gonna click with her. Interestingly enough, she never spoke to me again after I flew home from that trip. And you know what? That one I'm a little grateful for.
This is everything that happened play by play. Yeah. I met this guy on Unhinged. We had to book for about a week. I usually keep my timeline about a week and a half until I'm like, okay, ask me to go get coffee or something. Because, I mean, we can only talk so long. If there's no plans to, like, meet up in person, it's, like, not worth it to me. So whatever, this past week he made plans to meet up with person with me. I kept, like, not answering or, like, taking forever to answer because I'm generally a very busy person. I work at the hospital. But he seemed pretty understanding. Like, he sent me 3 places and he was like, hey, if you're still down to, like, meet up in person, here's some places that are, like, near the both of us. Just tell me which one's your best and what time works best for you. Have a good day. And originally I was even thinking of, like, not going because I always do that. Like, I'll meet some guy and then I'll be like, man, I don't want to go. But I decided to go through with it because he was very, like, nice over text, like, wasn't pushing me to, like, text him all day, or, like, I've had guys text me and then text me again and then FaceTime me, and then, like, that's really annoying. I don't like that. He definitely gave me my space. So I was like, you know what, like, the taco place he put, let's go there on Friday. So then Friday morning comes along and he's like, hey, good morning, see you later. Cool. Like, he didn't make me feel like I had to talk to him all day, which is my biggest thing because, like I said, I'm very busy. I do not have the time to talk to anybody all day, nor do I want to. I want to see you and, like, have things to talk about when I see you. I ended up being late. We're supposed to meet up at 7:30. I didn't get there until 8, and I told him, I was like, hey, I'm sorry, like, I'm gonna be late. You know, this is going on. I was in a rush. And he's like, no, like, you're fine. Like, again, super nice, whatever. I arrive and immediately the first thing I noticed was his outfit, which if you saw the video, you hear me say you're dressed like someone's grandpa, and he was. He had, like, a polo tucked into his pants and, like, whatever. But I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm here. Let's just get this over with. We end up talking, and, like, 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, he's like really well spoken. Like, he's carrying the conversation. He's asking me questions. I'm asking him questions. Like, very good banter. And he's speaking like if he's educated. Like, he's speaking like if he talks in front of people a lot. And I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. Because honestly, in my history of dating, it's usually reversed. And I feel like I'm pulling strings to talk to somebody. So then I was like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I almost didn't come to this. Like, because I'm not huge on dating. I haven't been on dating forever. But, like, I'm really glad I came. Like, this is really good. Like, this is going well on my end. And he's like, yeah, me too. And I was like, oh, like, what made you come? And he was like, well, I love that you were, like, not that you were too busy to text me, but, like, you have your own stuff going on. Like, you're busy with work. You're, like, you have your own stuff. I love that. Like, you're independent, which if you saw the video, you know why that's crazy for him to say that. So he's like, no, I love that you did that, whatever. He starts asking me, like, where I'm from. I'm like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. My parents are Puerto Rican. Stuff like that. Again, going really well. We did touch on politics, and I did ask him, you know, where do you stand on that? And he was like, I don't like to talk about politics. And I was like, okay, but where do you stand on MAGA? And he's like, no, I hate it. Like, I can't. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I just don't do, like, I don't, like, I'm not a gung-ho politic person. And I was like, okay, cool, but just to let you know, like, MAGA is where I draw the line. Like, I'm not friends with people. I've stopped being friends with people for that. I will not date somebody like that for sure. Just because I'm Hispanic, I'm a Latina, I'm a woman. I cannot be with somebody who doesn't share my beliefs when it comes to MAGA because of how radical MAGA is, like how extreme MAGA is. We keep talking. It gets so good that the bartender's even like kikiing with us. And she's like, oh my God, like, it seems like it's going well, girl. Like, are you having a good time? I'm like, no, like, I'm having a great time. I think he's having a good time. Like, other people around were like, oh, this is going well. Then she goes, do you guys want a shot? And I was like, I mean, I'm okay, but if you want to, like, whatever you want. And he was like, I'm down if you're down. I was like, yeah, sure. Again, no hopes, whatever. She goes, what were you guys thinking? And he goes, we'll take the Don Julio. And the bartender kind of looks at me like this. And I was like, listen, girl, like, I'll take whatever he's having. Again, I never asked for top shelf liquor. Nothing. He was in full control of how much his tab was going to be. So then the bar starts closing up. And again, at this point, he's still normal, not showing me any signs of him being drunk. Like, everything's cool. And then he goes, dang, like, it sucks that they're going to close because I'm having a really good time. And mind you, I did get there late, so we had only like 2 hours. So he was like, I really want to keep talking. And I was like, it kind of seemed like he was looking for me to be like, well, I have no plans. So I was like, well, you know, if you want to, I'm okay with like continuing the night at another place. If that's something you're interested. If not, it's okay. If you have plans, it's okay. Or if you just want to, you know, cap this off right here, that's totally fine. But I'm just letting you know if that's what you're like implying, I'm okay with that. And then he goes, no, like, if you're okay with it, like, I definitely want to. And I was like, okay, like, cool. So we step outside. I told him at this moment, I said, I just want to let you know though, me continuing the night is not me consenting to go to bed with you. I don't do hookups. This is not what this is. Like, I don't want you to think at some point in the night, like, you're gonna like have me sleep over. Like, that's not what's happening. I'm saying that right now. And he was like, that wasn't even on my mind. And he was like, do men normally like do that to you? I was like, well, yeah, some guys will like hear you say no and then try to convince you later on. Like, I'm just letting you know now, like, my mind is not changing. This is what's going on, and I'm not changing my opinion. He was like, yeah, no, like, wasn't even on my mind. Like, we're cool. So I'm like, okay. So then he's like, you know, the place is only 3 minutes away. Do you want to just drive together? And immediately I'm like, I don't know. And I was like, I mean, we can, but is it okay if I drive? Because I felt in charge if I drove, because he can't, again, at this point, he was normal, but he's still somebody that I don't know. He can't drive to his house. He can't crash the car. You know what I mean? Like, I've watched true crime all the time. So I was like, I would just feel better if I drove, so I can just like feel control. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. We drove. So at that moment, a lot of people were like, why would you leave your keys in his car? I had my keys in my hand because originally we went out and I was gonna get in my car. When the plan switched, I unknowingly put my keys in my lap, and I don't know what I did after that, but my keys must have fell. And I did not realize that my keys were not on my person until I was inside of the bar. So that is how my keys ended up in his car. I did not leave my stuff in his car, whatever. And a lot of you guys will be like, well, you shouldn't have got in the car with him, whatever. True, there are some parts of this story that like maybe I could have done things differently. But again, I was 3 minutes away. I was in my neighborhood. Well, not my neighborhood. Like, I go to that bar a couple times. Like, I know this area. I have 8 people that have my location. I had talked to people on the phone that day and told them, hey, I'm going on a date tonight. I showed my mom what this kid looked like. And after these plans, I was supposed to go to a housewarming party at my friend's house. So people had my location. People knew where I was going. Some people knew what he looked like. And I had plans that I was expected to be at. So I knew if something went wrong, somebody would have noticed. Somebody would have known where my last sighting was. I knew that I had safety precautions in place. And I conveniently picked that bar that happened to be 3 minutes away because I've been there before. I know the bartender. I know the people that go there. I used to be a server. I know a lot of people in the industry. So I went to the bathroom because another thing, because you guys think I'm stupid, I had not been to the bathroom yet because I had not finished any of my drinks yet. I had one drink and I had not finished any of my drinks yet. I had one drink and I was too scared to go to the bathroom until I finished it because again, he was cool up until the video, but I still don't know him not to put some stuff in my drink. So I come back from the bathroom and the bartender's like, hey, what can I get you, whatever. I go, I'm gonna get a White Claw. The guy comes around and he goes, by the way, that's on my tab. Again, all of his doing, like he was putting everything on his tab. This is now the 2 of 2 drinks beside the shot that I had. So 3 drinks, 2 of which I did not finish. So anyway, I run into my friend. He goes to the bathroom. I run into my friend. When he comes back from the bathroom, this is when things started to get like a little bit like off. Not dangerous off, but like this guy's a little kooky. I don't really want to like see him again. He's not my type. He comes up to me and he's like, hey, she's good, bro, to my friend. I was like, no, like this is just my friend. Like, friend, this is my date, this is my friend. And so my friend walks away and he comes up to me and goes, sorry, like I thought he was like a stranger bothering you. I was like, no, like it was nothing like that. I was like, it's okay, like I understand. And he was like, I just thought you were uncomfortable. I was like, no, like I'm fine. And he's like, should I go apologize? I was like, no, like just leave him alone. Like he's just having a good time with his friend. Like I said hi, it's cool. Time goes on. We continue having conversations. We're talking about how he's Mexican, whatever. And he's like, what are you, by the way? I was like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. And he's like, oh, so like your parents are immigrants? Or I was like, no, like Puerto Rico is part of America, which I had let that one slide because not everybody is educated, unfortunately, on the status of Puerto Rico. That's okay, fine, I let it go. Then some time passes, we start talking about traveling. And he's like, where's the farthest place you traveled, whatever. I'm like, oh, I've never been out of the country other than Puerto Rico. And he's like, oh, because of like your status. And I was like, my status? And I was like, well, your status, like it's hard to get a passport, like I get it. I was like, no, like I'm Puerto Rican, like I'm an American. It's like, oh, because you were born here, right? I was like, no, because I'm born here, but even if I was born there, like I would still be American. Like that's how that works. And he's like, oh, my bad. I just keep forgetting, right? So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like at this point, again, I'm not thinking he's scary bad. I'm thinking he's weird bad. And I'm already planning my exit. But again, I felt okay because I was inside the bar with bartender I knew, a bunch of people that I knew over there. I was fine. Then I noticed he's like getting a little like antsy. And I know sometimes when the liquor does start to hit me that I need to stand up. And that moment was the first time that he had shown me any inkling of him being drunk at all. Before this, he was normal. So he's like rocking and whatever. And I'm like, do you want to maybe like go outside? And he's like, I mean, if you want to. I was like, yeah. And I felt okay with that at the moment because there was people outside as we were talking, smoking. So we go outside, whatever. And this is when things just started to go for the worse. He's standing there and he's like, oh, like you look really pretty tonight, by the way. I was like, oh, thanks. And then audibly farts. Not kidding. I'm not kidding. So I like wait for him to mention it because it was loud enough that like somebody had to bring it up. And he doesn't say anything. Because if it was me, I would have been like, oh my god, fuck, like I farted. Like I did fart, you know? He doesn't say anything. He just kind of like doesn't say anything. So then me, being me, I have to say it. So I was like, did you just fart? And he was like, yeah. And I started laughing because that's funny. And he thinks that this is me accepting that he's farting. So he's like, oh, it's so cool that you're okay with that. I'm like, in my head, I was like, I'm not okay with that. I'm just laughing because this is like a funny date right now. It wasn't a scary date yet. It was a funny date. And I'm just like, yeah, like it's cool, bro. Like it's fine. So then he goes in the bar. I stay by myself. I call my friend. And I'm like, girl, like this man just fucking farted. Like I don't know what to do. Like this is so weird. He comes back. And that's when he switched. The cadence of his voice was different. I am not even kidding. It was like a whole different being. And he goes, I went inside and paid the tab just so you know, in case you wanted something else. And I was like, oh no, like I'm good. I just have my one drink, I'm good. And then he goes, well, yeah, you're just like making fun because you just like think you're valuable. And I barely heard him. So I was like, what? He goes, well, you're just making fun of everything and like laughing at me. I was like, yeah, you farted. Like that was funny. And he was like, yeah, but like, I just think like it's crazy. Like I paid the tab. And then that's when I took my phone out. I'm not going to go into every detail because the video is up. You guys can go watch it. What I am going to talk about is a lot of people are like, girl, you stayed too long. Girl, you should have got up. Like, whatever. To the unknowing eye, yeah, maybe I should have got up. But I'm going to tell you why I didn't. And you guys weren't there. Nor do you guys have the same fight or flight reactions that I would. Then it's different. So he starts going, talking. And earlier in the day, we had talked about living alone. And I was like, yeah, like, I thought about it, but, like, I'm scared. Like, it's scary to be on your own. You never know. He's like, yeah, that's why I got my license. And I was like, oh, you have one? And he's like, not on me, but, like, I have them. But again, he can be saying he doesn't have one on him, but could have one on him. So, like, I don't know. So anyway, flash forward back to the moment of the video. Then he's like, you know, kind of getting a little hostile, whatever. And in my head, I'm really scared at this moment because a lot of people were like, oh, you're too nice. If I wanted to respond in the way that I wanted to respond, throwing a drink, cussed him out, whatever, he could have retaliated with an equal opposite reaction or worse. Some guys keep, like, stuff on their keys, you know? So, like, I was scared of how that would happen. So I was trying to defend myself while not escalating, but also keeping him kind of where I felt I can get out of this, right? And then a lot of people were like, you should have gotten up. The way we were seated, first of all, we were the only ones out there, so I had no witness. And if this man did decide to hurt me, he would have overpowered me. He's a man, he's bigger than me. He could have even, like, really hurt me with just his hands. So I wanted somebody else to be there to witness or to intervene, whatever the case may be. So what you guys couldn't see in the video is while I'm talking to him and, like, trying to keep him focused right here, I'm also looking in the window to see if anyone is looking in my direction to give them, like, help me eyes. Didn't happen. People were already, like, focused on their own thing, enjoying their night. But I'm still, because I had friends in there, as I said earlier. So I'm, like, looking to see if anyone is looking at me. No one was. So I'm still just, like, keeping him where he's at, just going back and forth, trying to make sure he doesn't get up and do something crazy, right? Just keep going right here. And then I also felt comfortable where I was because we were sitting at a table. So if he wanted to get to me, he would have to get to me. It's not, you know, right here. So I'm like, I'm going to stay where I'm at. And then some people were like, just go back inside. He was sitting, like, this was the door and this was him, like, from my distance. So I had to pass him to get to the door. And I don't know him to not grab me or do, like, pull something quick. So I was like, I know where I'm at right now. He's here with me. People have been going in and out to smoke. All I have to do is just wait till somebody's out here and then I can exit. That was what was going on in my mind. That was what was going on in my mind. And I didn't want to ruin that because if I would have said something crazy and messed everything up and then he gets up, the whole plan I had in my head would have been ruined. So whatever, I'm still going. And then he's saying stuff that, if you remember from what I said before, he was contradicting everything he was saying from the normal part of the date. Then finally, at the end of the video, when I pick up my phone, you can hear the door open because that was the minute that somebody stepped out. And that's when I was like, okay, this is it. I have to exit right now. I was like, I don't care what you're saying, whatever, picked up my phone. And then you hear the bystander say, I'll get your keys for you. So I didn't even get up at that point. I just had my phone in my hand. I stayed there because I did not want to be physically close to him in reach. So the bystander goes with him to get my keys and they start walking away. And once they're at a safe distance was the first time I get up from my seat. I get up from my seat, the other bystander walks me to the door and we stay there while they're getting my keys. And then they come back and all I hear is him going, if she's telling you I raped her, believe her, da-da-da-da-da, like screaming. Then he takes my keys and goes, bah, on the floor, like hard. I thought the keys were gonna break. Then he picks them up and goes to throw them at the window. And the bystander even goes, hey bro, like relax, just leave, call it a night. And I had already warned the bystanders at that point when I got up that he had a, so even the bystanders weren't going up to him like, hey bro, like relax, like, well, like, because when somebody has something like that and you're just a person, I am no match for that. Like, so I just need to keep you where you are even though I want to cuss you out, even though I want to like stand up for myself and be that person, but I just need to keep you where you are to make sure you don't cross that threshold of, you know. Finally, I go back inside, he leaves, and I go back to the bystanders and I'm like, hey, like, did you see him leave? And they're like, yeah, we saw him get to the stoplight, like, he's gone. So I go back inside, I meet up with my friends, and my friend was like, hey, like, how's your date going? I was like, dude, like, I needed you. And I tell him everything, and he's like, I had no idea, whatever. And then right after that was when I called my parents, and I told them, hey, this happened. I need you to come get me, whatever. My parents come get me. They take me to my car. I go home. I didn't go to the party. I stayed home. And yeah, I blocked him on everything. And that was it. So yeah, you guys can, you know, blame me. I'm sure there's steps of this story that maybe I could have done differently. Fortunately for me, this was the first time that this has happened to me, so I was not really sure of like the best things to do. But I did what I felt was safe in the moment, and maybe if I had more physical strength or more confidence in my physical abilities to get away from a man, maybe I would have like walked away easier or walked past him to the door or said meaner things to him, but I don't. My biggest concern was getting myself out safely. It wasn't about hurting his ego. It just wasn't about that. I wasn't worried about putting a drink, like I was not worried about throwing drinks at him. I was not worried about any of that. I was worried about getting home to my parents and my dogs and making it through the night. Muscles in his face, the look in his eye, the cadence of his voice was completely different from the person that I had met at the Mexican restaurant. Completely different. But yeah, thank you. If the bystanders end up seeing this, thank you guys so much. Like, you guys actually helped me so much. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what would have happened. And to all the girls, just be careful. Like, make sure people have your location, everything. And to anybody who's curious, I deleted everything. I do not have any more dating apps. I do not plan to do dating apps or date for a while. Honestly, it's very scary. You could please stop with the shaming. Like, again, you guys weren't there. Everyone has different reactions to like stressful situations. This is just what happened for me. And at the end of the day, I made it out safely, and I no longer have contact with him. So that was probably the best case scenario for myself. And thank you for listening to my story, and thank you for all the nice comments and people reaching out. And yeah, if you ever need somebody to talk to or a safe place to talk about, you know, maybe somebody who doesn't make you feel that good, I read my DMs, even the ones that are just requests, and reply to legitimate requests of messages, and I'm more than happy to talk to you. So yeah, bye.
I saw a video of a girl asking if you have ever had a friend that just hated you, and I thought this was my time to shine. So I went through a lot of different like friend groups and best friends and stuff throughout my whole life, but I had one friend that I had for 7 years and one friend that I had for 4. And the friend I had for 7 years I started becoming friends with this other girl in high school, and I just introduced the two of them together, so then all 3 of us became a trio. And one weird thing about my school was that we didn't have, like, people weren't just, like, friends with just one other person. Like, there weren't a whole lot of that. It was a lot of big groups. So even though we weren't popular, everybody, like, knew of us because we were that weird group that, like, the weird trio. Like, I'm telling you, even teachers knew not to separate us because we were going to, like, back together. So fast forward to senior prom, we're going to call them Rachel and Ashley. Rachel and Ashley went to Ashley's house and decided that they were going to get ready together, and I got ready at my house. Now, this made sense because Ashley lived pretty far out, and I had a hair appointment in the middle of the day, so it didn't really make sense to drive all the way out there, drive back into town, drive back out there. I just got ready at my house. And if you've seen my prom pictures, you know I did Lady Gaga's Met Gala look for prom. Skipping blush and highlight because I'm doing that in a different video. So I finished my makeup, and I text a picture of it to Rachel. And she's like, oh, you need to take that off. You cannot wear that. That is embarrassing. Like, we do not want to be seen with that. And I'm just like, no, like, I spent 2 hours on it. I did not have time to take it off. I was like, no. And she was like, okay, well, then we're not going to come get you. Now, my parents had my car because one of their cars was in the shop. And I was like, you have to come get me or I can't get there. So begrudgingly, they come to my house and they pick me up, and then we meet all of our parents to go do pictures. Now, when we get there, they take one picture with me. Also, no, the whole drive over, they did not talk to me or acknowledge me. So they take one picture with me, then I get sprayed by a sprinkler and I get soaked. So now I'm crying. They do not care. They have better things to do. And then at this point, the parents are finding this weird because I'm being like completely overlooked, and that's never happened before. At least that they've seen. So all the parents are like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine." So we finish pictures and say farewell to our parents. So then we go to dinner. It's the most awkward thing ever. No one talks to me. So I'm just like, okay, when I get to prom, I'll find other people. At prom, some other girls hang out with us, so it's fine. It doesn't feel too awkward. Then when we get in the car to leave, Ashley looks at Rachel and is like, "Hey, do you want to spend the night at my house?" And Rachel's like, "Yeah, I'd love to." So Ashley goes, "Great, we'll drop Allie off and then we will go to my house." And that's exactly what happened.
Alright, y'all, so story time on how my best friend stole my car and then lied about it when I went on vacation. So a little backstory, this happened my freshman year of college, and I had came into college with my best friend since 7th grade, and we had met this one girl. I'm gonna call her Macy, and then my best friend, I'm gonna call her Ava. So this happened second semester, so I'm gonna just fast forward there. Second semester, Macy was living with my other homegirl, so we were all in like this big ass friend group, and like the friend group, 4 of them lived in their own apartment across the street from me. So Macy's roommate, my homegirl, invited me on this little like beach vacation for her birthday. Mind y'all, it was very last minute. It was the same day and everything. Like, we planned this shit same day. So Macy, the roommate, and she was overhearing, the plans. So I asked her if she wanted to come, but she ended up not wanting to come. Like, she's like, "Nah, like, it's too last minute." So I'm like, "All right, bet." So I don't know if Ava felt some type of way about it, but she was kind of acting weird when I told her I was going on the, last minute vacation with my homegirl. So when I was at Macy's crib, I was in my homegirl room. I had left my keys in her room. Mind y'all, we was finna go on a trip like maybe in the next hour. So I had came back to my crib, packed up and got ready and stuff. And I told my homegirl to bring my keys down in the car when she came to get me. So she pulls up and she doesn't have my keys. So I was like, you got my keys? And she was like, "Oh, I didn't see them." I'm like, "How you ain't see them?" But that's cool. So I called the other roommate, my other homegirl. I'm like, "Yo, like, can you check the living room and see if my keys is in the living room?" She go in the living room, it's not in there. Okay, cool. Macy had the keys to everybody's door, and my homegirl had locked her door. So I had to end up calling Macy, which I already didn't really want to call Macy because Macy was very sneaky. Like, she was very like, I just had a feeling she was going to do something with my fucking keys, y'all. So I had to ask her because I needed to know if my keys was in that room. So I called her and asked her if she could go in my homegirl room and see my keys in there. And she's like, "Yeah," because mind y'all, she worked in the leasing office of their building, so she had the keys to everybody's room. So she went in there, she found my keys, and I asked her if she could bring my keys and put them in my room because we live right across the street from each other. So she's like, "Yeah, she'll do it." Woot, woot. All right, cool. So I texted her probably about like 10 minutes later. I'm like, no, 20 minutes. And I'm like, "Hey, did you put my keys in my room?" She's like, "Yeah, I did." I'm like, "All right, bet." So fast forward, right? Mind y'all, my car literally has an app. I got an app for my whole car. It tells me everything about my shit. Like, literally everything. So before I even leave, I took a screenshot of like my percentage in my car just to know nobody touched my shit. Just in case. Because I had a weird, iffy feeling. I really had a feeling, bro. So we probably get like 2 hours, 3 hours into the car ride. And we had stopped at the gas station. And I just see notification pop up to my phone talking about your car doors have been left unlocked. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck is in my car? So I started blowing up the group chat, me and my homegirls. And no, I started blowing up me, Macy, and Ava's group chat because, like, who's in my shit? It gotta be one of them. Because mind y'all, at the time, Ava also had a car, but her car was in the shop. So she ain't had no whip. So I had a feeling that she was going to try and drive my car when I was gone. So I'm texting the group chat. I'm like, "Yo, like, who's in my car? Somebody's in my car right now. Woo-doo-woo. Put my car back right now. Like, y'all didn't even ask me." No response. I'm talking about not one response. I call their phones is all going to voicemail. Huh? And another thing, I don't play about my car. Like, I do not let nobody drive my car, like, at all. Like, I do not play that shit. So they knew what the fuck they was doing. Like, they knew I was not going for that shit. So anyways, I'm blowing up their phones again. They're not answering. So I start calling my best friend mom. I start calling Ava mom. I'm like, yo, your daughter got my car and she's not answering the phone and I'm on vacation. If you could call her and tell her to put my car back and tell her to give me a call. And she's like, are you sure my daughter has your car? Like, are you sure? Like, whoop, whoop. I'm like, no, I'm sure. Like, I'm positive she has my car. Like, you need to call her. So she's like, all right, I'm finna call her. So I start calling the police, reporting my car stolen and stuff, because I literally checked the location, my tracker, and my car is not where I left it. It's not in my parking space. So I'm like, yeah, y'all got me messed up. Like, I'm overly calling the police. Like, no. So fast forward, like, I would say about like an hour, y'all, after I'm stressing about who in my car. Fast forward an hour, Macy calls me and she starts acting like she don't know what's going on. She like, no, I just pulled up to Ava's crib right now. Like, Ava ain't been answering the phone either. Like, I've been downstairs in on the 11th floor. Like, I've not been home. Like, I didn't drive your car. She starts saying, "On God, I ain't drive your car. On God, I ain't drive your car." Yeah, bitch, cause you was the motherfucking passenger. Bitch, you think you was motherfucking slick? Another thing, Macy knows she can't drive my shit. Like, at all. Like, Ava is probably the only person I will let drive my shit just in case. So she knows. I know Macy wasn't the one driving. It was Ava. But at the same time, Macy, you had the keys and you gave it to Ava. You gave my keys to another girl to drive. You around. So she like, "Oh God, I ain't drive your car. Oh God, I ain't drive your car." Putting this shit on God, y'all. Like, I'm like, so then who in my shit? She's like, I don't know. So boom, she knocked on the door, right? She knocked on Ava's door. And Ava opened it, or somebody opened the door, quote unquote. And so I start going off because, you feel me? And she's like, "No, that's not Ava, that's her roommate." Mind y'all, her and her roommate are beefing. They was beefing at the time, so why the hell would her roommate come open the door for you? And she don't even fuck with her roommates. Like, they just thought I was stupid. Like, come on now. So boom, she gets to Ava's room. And y'all, this girl acts like she was fucking sleeping. Like, I'm talking about lights off and all. Macy hands Ava the phone. She like, "Hello?" Acting like she just woke up. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I just sat and looked like, wow. Like, I really could not believe that. I could not believe these girls deadass came up with a plan to play in my face after they done took my shit. So I'm like, girl, what the fuck do you mean you're sleeping? Like, who's in my car? Like, y'all hoes is not fooling nobody. So she was like, I did not drive your car. Like, I've been asleep for the past 3 hours. Whoop-de-whoop. Bitch. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, so if y'all didn't drive my car, then who did? Because Macy, y'all left the keys with you. So who's in my car? Like, I don't know. I said, so why is nobody worried? Why is nobody not concerned that my car, quote unquote, got stolen? Nobody's tripping, so that's how I know y'all lying. Like, y'all would have been on that shit. Y'all would have been pulled up, like, "Oh, where's the king car at?" You feel me? Y'all hoes ain't doing shit, but just acting like y'all bitches asleep. You got me messed up. So I'm like, all right, bet. It's nothing I can do. I'm in Florida. You feel me? I asked my cousin to pull up and see if my car was parked in my spot, and it was. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna come back home, and I'm gonna just go in the leasing office and check the cameras when I get back, since y'all hoes wanna act like y'all lying. So y'all, I'm talking about, they literally in their group chat, and I will insert messages if y'all want me to, probably in the comments. I will insert messages. She in a group chat talking about some, "Oh, you call my mother, like, this is why I should never give nobody my mother's number. Like, why are you calling my mother? What? Yeah, she over here mad as hell trying to manipulate me into calling her, like, be mad at me for calling her mom and shit. But this bitch just took my motherfucking car, y'all. So boom, I come back home. I go to the lease office downstairs. I'm telling them, run them cameras back. Mind y'all, I'm already trying to press charges and shit. I'm like, yo, like, feel me? Let's speed this shit up. I'm talking about this is the first thing I do when I get back. So they check the cameras. Right? And they're like, yeah, it was them. They was in your car. And I was like, I'm already knowing, like, you feel me? I'm not dumb. I just, I just needed like the confirmation to go off like on these hoes. I remember like probably like the next week or like probably a couple days after, I ended up calling her because I started telling everybody like, yo, like, because y'all, this is my best friend in since seventh grade. So I started calling everybody like, yo, y'all, this bitch just stole my car. This bitch just took my car and lied about it. Whoop, whoop. And one of them, the people I had told had like confronted her. And so she had ended up calling me, and yeah, like I cursed her ass clean the fuck out, and that bitch is cut the fuck off. Fuck these hoes. Don't trust none of these hoes, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Don't trust nobody. Like, you cannot trust nobody.
Story time of when I lost my at 17 and I had to tell my mom after it happened. So a little backstory, the person that I lost my to was actually my friend's cousin, and her mom came up to me and my mom at like prom pictures and was like, oh, my nephew's going to the same school as you, he's in the same major, you guys should like get to know each other. And I think this was like 5-6 years ago now, so I don't really remember all the details, but I think I ended up like requesting him on Instagram and he like DM'd me right away. So basically he DM'd me and we started talking for a bit, snapping, whatever, and he asked to like hang out. I don't remember all the details, but I think we only hung out like a handful of times, probably less than that. So I was very innocent growing up, but so he was probably like the second or third person I've ever like kissed. So whatever, and I was like, oh, he's going to my school, like we're gonna be in the same major, like this is the perfect opportunity. Anyway, so we hang out, blah blah blah, and we talk for like a couple days after. Okay, so now we're getting into like 2 days after, and I start to get really sick, and I had like a fever. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying in bed dying, fever, chills, my throat swollen, my tonsils are like this big and they're white. So I'm like, holy shit, I'm dying. So my mom comes in and she's like, you probably have like strep or COVID was going around at the time. So she was like, you probably have like one of the two, but I was going away to college in like a month, so worst time to get sick. So she's like, we have to go to the doctor. And I was like, I could have something else. And she was like what? And I'm like literally curled up in bed dying, not even making eye contact with her, and I'm like, an STD. And she's like, why would you have an STD? And I was like, I had sex. And she sits on my bed. I'm 17 years old, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and she sits on my bed and she goes, was it special? And I was like, Mom, I'm not talking about this with you. It was so humbling because like I said, I was so innocent growing up. I had never even like really kissed anybody. I don't even know if my mom knew I had even had a first kiss. So humbling. Anyway, we go to the doctor. So since I'm 17, we go to the pediatrician because I'm 17 and my mom had to go with me. Once again, really humbling. And I have to tell the doctor why I think I have an STD. And she's like, I don't think you have an STD, but we're going to do a strep test, a COVID test, a mono test, and then we'll do like an STD test too. All of these rapid things come up negative. But with like the STD, it's like I don't know. I've never had one, but I think you have to wait like a certain amount of time. So I don't even know if they actually did test me for that. Anywho, so they're like, you don't have strep, you don't have COVID, you don't have mono, but we're going to give you a shot in the ass just to be safe. First and last time this ever happened, hurt like a bitch, and then they gave me like, I don't know what pills they were, but it was like 1 to 2 pills, and you take it and like you're clear of whatever STD you have. I thought I had the Sif because I watched Shameless and they said that strep can look like syphilis or syphilis can look like strep, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the fucking Sif. Anyway, flash forward, I leave this pediatrician and I call the guy and I'm like, you gave me an STD. And he was like, Sam, I promise you I did not give you an STD. And I was like, you should go get checked though because I'm dying and I have nothing wrong with me. And anyway, so now he's freaking out. He's like, well, am I gonna get sick? And I was like, you got me sick. Look, I wasn't sick before I met you. Flash forward, I ended up not having the sif, not having strep, and I ended up having mono. I was sick for a month over the summer, and this guy ended up ghosting me, so I'm like, was it even worth it? I don't know where I got it from. It wasn't from him, obviously. I think I just scared the crap out of him, being like, you have an STD and you gave it to me. Humbled experience, my poor mother.
Boyfriend faked an allergic reaction to get out of taking me on a date. This was a guy I dated like a little after college, so don't worry, he's an ex now. We had been dating for a couple months and he had never taken me on a date. He was gifted this gift card for his birthday and he was like, let me use that, let me take you on a date now. We get there, everything's going great, we order, he gets his food like 10 minutes before mine, which I thought was kind of weird because it was like a nice steakhouse, but the waiter was like, sorry, it's gonna be like 10 more minutes for yours. So my boyfriend like starts chowing down on his food and I was like just sitting there watching him because I didn't have any food and I was like, aren't you gonna like wait? I feel like it's like common courtesy to wait for everybody to have their food before you start eating. He was like, no, I don't want mine to get cold while we're waiting for yours. Why would I wait? The way that he was like shoveling down his food, like before mine came, he was like damn near done. I see the waiter like coming with my food. He barely had like 3 bites left. And then he was like, wait, I think my throat's closing up. I think I'm having an allergic reaction. The waiter sets down my food and he looks at him and he was like, just cancel that. Like, we need to go. I'm having an allergic reaction. He was like, we don't even have time to get a to-go box. Like, we need to go now. And I didn't care because I was like, if your throat's closing up, like, we have to go to the hospital right now. And of course, when we get in the car, he takes the time to plug in the aux and think of a good song to play as we're driving to the hospital. We come up to this red light where it was like either turn this way and that's the hospital or turn that way and it's back to his house. He turns to go back to his house and I was like, what are you doing? I thought you're having an allergic reaction. Like, we have to go to the hospital. He was like, no, trust me. Like, we need to go get my EpiPen. I'll do the EpiPen and then we'll go to the hospital. When we walk into his house, like all of his roommates and a bunch of his friends were just like sitting on the couch, drinking beers, watching football or whatever. And he couldn't have been more perfectly fine when he walked through that door. He looks at me and he goes, I actually feel okay. Would you rather just stay here and we can just drink with my friends? I was like fully in a dress and heels and I hadn't eaten. I was like actually so insanely pissed off. Safe to say, I went hungry and we continued drinking with his friends all night long. And he successfully got out of taking me on a date.
Story time about my online boyfriend that I flew to Minnesota to meet up with in 8th grade. Despite this video being for entertainment, this is something that's very dangerous. I knew what I was doing was stupid and I did it anyway. Please do not do this at any situation. I was very lucky that something bad did not happen to me. Anyway, this all started in 2022 when I was in 8th grade and I was pretty obsessed with the idea of having a boyfriend. And honestly, the guys that I had talked to were really bad people and I was not getting very lucky. And also at the time, me and my friends had an obsession with playing Roblox. Me and my school friends would play with some of our online friends, which were like actual like good people. And it was like these 3 boys and then this 1 girl. Anyways, one night we were all playing Roblox together and these 2 boys joined our server. And when we would all play together, we'd all like call on Discord, so like it was this big thing. And these boys that had joined the server also had Discord. So we start talking to these boys and we're like, oh, we should all call and play Roblox together. We add them into our little Discord thing and we played Roblox together multiple times. So sometimes when we would play with these 2 boys, this 1 boy who we're gonna call C. Now me and my friends usually played with C, not the other boy. So me and C obviously started spending a lot of time together. It got to the point where we'd start texting one-on-one on Discord. We started texting one-on-one so that we could organize like our friend group playing together. And late at night when our friends would go to sleep, me and him would play together. Now all the people that me and my friends would play with were either younger than us or they were the same age as us, but C was about a year older than us. And the reason that me and C got along so well was because we had a lot of similar interests. We both played instruments, we both liked to draw, and I felt like we both kind of got along on the same level. Anyway, one thing turned into another. Eventually we would be on call together until like 3 in the morning, and I had never really had that happen to me with a guy before, so talking to a guy that like actually cared about what I was saying was something that was like so new and so intriguing. But anyway, some time goes by and obviously we both started developing feelings for each other, being like 14 and 15 years old. He asked me if I want to be his girlfriend. Were we actually dating? No, we were like in middle school. It wasn't that serious, but at the time it did feel serious. But then people from my school started finding out about it. The girls that was in our friend group, I would tell her about how me and this guy were like dating and she told everyone. And obviously I was embarrassed because I didn't want people to know that the only guy that I had ever been in a relationship with was now an online boyfriend. Anyway, it gets worse. This relationship lasts about like 2 weeks and eventually we get into a big fight because he asked me for and obviously I say no. It ends up happening a few times where he'll ask me later and I say no again. And it got to one point where we started fighting and he just blocked me. Right when I thought that this situation couldn't get any worse, my parents decided to go through my phone. And obviously they're not very happy. I end up getting grounded and I don't get my phone back for about like 2 months. If I was grounded, I would go on my computer and I still had him friended on Roblox so we would play together. Anyway, I go into my freshman year and I want to say that I completely forgot about this situation, but I did not. Regardless of the fact that I talked to multiple guys and got into so many situationships, I still was talking to this online guy. The thing was that he apologized, so we ended up being like friends, and then we would still play Roblox, we still would call, and we'd still talk, and we were just friends. Fast forward to us being friends for a while, I end up going on a trip with my family to the Mall of America. By the way, this was the summer before my sophomore year, so this was an entire 2 years that had passed. But at the time that I was going, I told him, hey, I'm going to the Mall of America. I know you live 5 minutes away from the Mall of America. We should meet up. Of course, he's like, oh, I have soccer practice that day, but I would love to meet up. While I'm on a trip to the Mall of America with my family, I split up with them and go meet up with this boy. Anyways, I do have a picture of him like spying on me, also like us meeting up, so if you guys want to see that, this video to 10k likes, I guess. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please do not do anything I did in this video because again, it's dangerous. And yeah, thanks for watching.
I'm like really bored right now, so I'm gonna tell you guys all the things that I put my parents through in high school. Starting off strong, my parents were on vacation, like just them two, in Jamaica for like a week. So I skipped school every single day, and then one of the days I got drunk at school and somebody reported me. And my grandma had to come pick me up, and my grandma's extremely Mormon, and like talked to the cop, and my parents were getting like phone calls from the school like across the country while they were like literally in Jamaica on vacation, telling them that they think their daughter's drunk and that they need to breathalyze me. Another time, me and my friends thought it would be a good idea to follow this girl to her golf cart and then jump her. And so the parents pulled up to my house and talked to my dad about how their daughter just jumped their daughter. And that was not very cute for anyone involved. Another time, my mom was like on her way to like take me to a mental hospital, and like in her moving car while she was driving, I attempted to jump out of the car, so she had to like pull over. And to add on top of that, another time me and my mom were fighting in the car, and I did the same thing where I attempted to jump out of the moving vehicle on the 60-mile-per-hour highway, so she pulled over and made me walk home. I had this ex that I was banned from, and I was like grounded. So one of the days during summer, my dad came home during his lunch break and I wasn't home. So my sister had to lie for me, and my sister's not a very good liar. So my dad found out that I was at his house and had to like come pick me up in the middle of the workday, and then like didn't let me go on the family vacation that was the next week and made me stay with my grandparents. Okay, and ending off strong here. I went and I met up with my ex-boyfriend that I was banned from one time, and I got drunk with him, and then he like put me in his basement and stole my car, and I ended up having to call my mom at like 4 a.m. to come pick me up, and we had to like find my like stolen car, and like my mom almost called the cops, but like she didn't because I got threatened to get jumped. So I was literally batshit in high school, and I just thought this would be a fun little video to make. Bye, love you.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a story time of how I got blocked by an influencer. And I would say mostly everybody on this app would know who she is. She has about 2 million followers. So randomly one day I seen her posting on TikTok in the Glow House with like all the Glow House members. So I was like, bro, okay, well, I'm just gonna add her on Snapchat, like just go follow her Snapchat, because like, you know how when influencers, they have like the public profile thing, you can like follow them to see their like dating stories. So I followed her, and to my surprise, she added me back. And to say the least, I was shocked, absolutely shocked, because this girl just added me by accident. Like, she possibly does not know who I am. So I sent her a message on Snapchat. I'm like, hey girl, like, I didn't think you'd add me back. Like, what's up? And then, so like 3 days later, I go to check if she like messaged me back. I mean, like, obviously she's not gonna text me back. She left me on open. I mean, obviously she's not gonna text me back. At first I thought it was a scam or like whatever, or like, you know, like a fake account, because she was posting like, oh, like if you live in the UK, like sign up for this Temu thing with like the link and you'll get a chance to come get free like stuff at my meet and greet. And so obviously I was like, oh, like that's a little weird, right? Anyways, so I'm like, well, that's a little weird. And then I'm like, whatever, like I'm just gonna still keep her on Snapchat. And then like a few days later I decided to like scroll down through my Snapchat, and I don't even remember why. I was probably looking for someone's Snapchat. Anyways, so then I don't see her name anymore, and I'm like, oh, like that's weird, like I bet it was just like a fake account. And then I got to thinking, I was like, let me just search up her name, right? And so I search it up and it doesn't come up. And I don't even remember how, but somehow I figured out that she blocked me. And yeah, so I have no idea why she blocked me. So honestly, it's a mystery at this point. I have no idea why she blocked me, but I guess we'll never know.
Blondes are ugly. Just kidding. Let's address the elephant in the room. I finally went blonde. I used to be blonde like 2 years ago, and then my hair was so fried and damaged. I'm gonna insert pictures if I find them. I had to go back to my natural hair and like a whole healing journey for 2.5 years, and then finally found like an artist I truly trust to dye my hair blonde again. I couldn't be happier. I was dating someone and we broke up. Am I sad about it? Absolutely not. When I tell you I thought this man was everything I wanted and more, in my mind I was like, this man is so thoughtful, he's so caring, like for sure he's already gonna make reservations at like my favorite restaurant. And you're like, Karina, why would you just assume that? I have like the most like vile Diet Coke addiction. This guy, he doesn't drink soda at all, and I remember when I came over to his apartment for the first time, literally fully stocked of Diet Coke. So when you're like, why would you think he'd like plan something like really cute or like whatever, because I thought that's who he was. Okay, so boom, Valentine's Day comes around. I was sick like the day before, whatever, but the day of I text him that I'm going to church, I'm going to Athey, and then I should be free. And he's like, oh, okay, sounds good. I go to Cruffle, get me a little waffle, finish getting my pedicure done, get my eyebrows done. I already went shopping, like have an outfit, and I was like, bro, it's 2 p.m. And then he kind of texts me and he's like, oh yeah, like I'd love to see you, where you at? What do you mean where I'm at? Like, where should I be and by what time? What do you mean? Long story short, he's like, yeah, I couldn't find a reservation, but I'm making dinner at my house and then we could go get dessert like here. Younger Karina would have been like, oh, okay, like whatever. Like, at least he's trying. Like, at least he's putting in an effort. Me now, I was like, ain't no freaking way. You had so much time. I could have made a reservation at that point. And also, it's just like, I've had guys I hadn't dated put more of an effort than you, my boyfriend, is putting in. And like, I already know all my friends are gonna be like, oh my gosh, Karina, like what did so-and-so do? And I'm embarrassed. One, you didn't even text me a time, date, and place. Two, that you waited all day until I texted you first to be like, oh yeah, like I'd love to see you today. What do you mean? What do you mean? Three, that like you waited this long to make reservations. I literally texted him, yeah, unfortunately I already went ahead and made other plans because your effort doesn't match my expectations, so I'll see you on a later date. I don't even want a life partner that I have to ask to make a reservation on Valentine's Day. Like, I'm so sorry, if it's our first Valentine's Day and you're putting this little effort in, what are you gonna do when we have like 20 kids? Like, what? Nothing? You're gonna just say, oh, happy Valentine's Day, babe. Yeah, no thank you. All I know to say is never settle. And like, the person might be a good person, but they might not be your person, and that's totally okay.
On October 31st of 2016, my stepdad shot and murdered my mom. Let's talk about it. This has been a lot harder to film than I ever thought it would be. Not necessarily emotionally, immensely, more like I feel like I can't find my words and that I feel like I'm starting in the middle of the story, and I don't know, I guess just having a little bit of a hard time explaining things. I'm going to start in the beginning with Bio Dad. So his story is pretty short. My mom found out she was pregnant with me at 18. My grandma kicked her out, and my mom went to school and got her LPN. She met John, my brother and sister's dad somewhere along the way. And when my bio dad, he was in jail at the time. I believe when he got out, I was 3 or 4 months old from the story that I've been told. And when he realized that my mom and John were pretty solid at the time, he dipped. My mom never had his name on my birth certificate, so there was never like a custody battle or like anything like that. Like it was a pretty cut and dry, hey, I'm leaving, from my understanding. And I do have other siblings from him as well. I'm the oldest out of them 2. I'm only in touch with 1, and that's all there is to it. My mom and John were together for 10 years. Had my sister and my brother were all 3 years apart. When they split up, I do remember there being a lot of fights in their relationship and a lot of screaming and yelling, and I remember being home with my brother and sister alone a lot from a really young age. And when they split up, I think that we just saw the toxic behavior our mom had kind of shielded us from, or like shielded us / like we were just too young to pick up on it. And mom met Brian about a year later. They got married, I want to say pretty quickly. I can't remember a time frame. I just feel like they like met and got married really shortly. This was Brian's 3rd marriage, and he also had 3 kids, so we were a pretty big family, which I'm sure was nerve-wracking for all of us to meet, but I think all of the siblings got along really well. And when things were good, they were really good. And just like with any relationship and family, when things were bad, they were really, really bad. So in 2016, I think at this point Brian's oldest, had been out of the house for about 2 years. The main people in the house most of the time are me, my brother and sister, and his youngest, Brian's youngest. When this happened on Halloween, I want to say earlier that week, Brian informed me when I was leaving for class one day that my mom had asked for a divorce. I had no idea. I remember when he told me, I was like shocked, but also like a lot of uneasiness happening, because I felt like that should have been coming from my mom. And this could be a whole separate video, and more of what I'll go into as well. There's a lot of, when things first happened, my anger and my grief was really directed towards Brian. I'm a mom of 2 now, 10 years later, and there's a lot of decisions that my mom made and conversations I wish we could have had, because there's a lot of anger that I have towards my mom whenever that's what my grief decides to be that day. And I'm working on that right now in therapy. I actually have therapy today at 1. Ashley, I'll see you in a little bit. But I 10 years later can see a lot of the wrong that my mom did too. And well, we'll get into it, right? So when Brian informed me that she'd asked for a divorce, I was caught off guard. I remember getting in my car and going to class and talking to my mom, because she had recently, earlier that year, graduated with her RN and was working at the VA, and she was on midnights at the time. I remember asking her, like, hey, anything you want to share? And her telling me, like, yes, I want a divorce. I'm not happy. I'm hoping that we can end on good terms. And I want to buy him out of the house so we didn't have to move, and he had, something to get himself started on. And I just thought, okay, like, that's just what it is. I wasn't really sad, like I said. I was just really uneasy. And I want to say a couple days after that, Brian informed me that my mom had been having an affair. Before I post this, I want to say I don't condone cheating, but I hold no judgment for my mom's choice. I don't think she made that decision out of wanting to necessarily. I think that if you know anything about DV relationships, the most dangerous time for a victim is when they're leaving. And I think that she thought the person she was seeing would offer some level of protection when she was trying to leave and get out of this in the most civil way. And that's just not what happened. And I don't want any other DV survivor to, if that's how they got out of their relationship and how they got out of that abuse and they're out and they're alive, I don't want them, if they see this, to think that I would ever hold any judgment on that. Like, you did what you had to. You did what you could with what you had, right? And regardless, though, I feel like no matter what, that this was how this was going to end. And I'll talk about that more in the next part. I worry about talking about my mom having an affair online because I don't want people to automatically write her off and feel like she deserved what she got, because at the end of the day, nobody deserves to be shot and killed and murdered for a decision that they made. And so I guess if you watch this and you hear that and you think she deserved it, I would just keep that to yourself. And I'll talk more about that night and what happened in the next one.
Let me tell you guys how when I went to a vacation with my entire family, I got hit on by a 23-year-old as a 15-year-old. So this all happened when I went to a family vacation with literally everyone from my mom's side, and it was 2022 at the time, and I was 15 years old. Christmas, and we all decided, like, might as well, let's go to like a beach, and we went to Acapulco, Mexico. So every time we go there, this was like the second time we were going, we stayed at this like Airbnb, and we knew the owner and everything, so we just kind of always stayed there every time we went to Acapulco. So we kind of already knew like the area and like how many people would stay, and it wasn't empty, but nobody would really go and like to the rooftop pool, which was kind of crazy. It was like, why aren't you gonna go to a rooftop pool? But we always went up there when it was like me and my girl cousins, and I have a lot of cousins in my family, so we kind of just like would always hang out in the rooftop pool. It was one night when it was like around 10 p.m. and we were like, oh, let's go up to the pool and just like chill out for a little bit and like maybe like my older cousins have a drink. We were upstairs and it was like pretty chill. We were just looking at like the nightlife and stuff, because like on the rooftop pool you can see everything. You can see the cities, the beach, the people. It was a really, really cute view. About 20 minutes later, a group of guys, it was a group of 3 who came up to the rooftop pool, and it's like we were like not shocked or anything, but it was like kind of surprising because nobody really comes up to the rooftop pool, because mind you, we've been here multiple times. So it was these 3 guys, and they kind of stayed at the opposite side of the pool. So it was there, my cousin and I, and then the guys. And my cousins are very outgoing, so they obviously decided, like, let's befriend them. So we are like, hey, like, what's up? And they start introducing themselves, and I low-key forgot his name. I think it was, like, I don't know. We're just going to call him the singer. So one of the guys, he was an aspiring singer for, like, a banda or something like that. I don't really know. It was a singer, and then another guy, and his name was Aaron. And then his friend was named Nico. So the guy that we're going to focus on today is Nico. So singer, Aaron, Nico. There were the 3 guys that came up to the rooftop pool and talked to us. So we kind of were just like talking with them for a good like hour, and we were just kind of getting to know them, basically they were telling us their life story and stuff like that. And kind of towards the end of like the time that we're gonna spend at the pool, we kind of invited them to the beach. We're like, hey, like, you guys seem chill. And the reason why we did is because they kind of seem close in age with us. So the singer was probably like late 20s, and that's like kind of like my cousins. Like my cousins were like around 23, 25, my sister's 22, and then I had a younger cousin. We were like 14 and I was 15. But I want you guys to remember that Nico was 23 years old. So after we invited them to the beach, they agreed to go, and we're like, okay, we'll get up early tomorrow and we can go. And they agreed. So the next morning we got up and we started to text them because we exchanged numbers so we can go to the beach. And mind you, this was all like more so my older cousins, because obviously older and older, and like me and my younger cousin kind of just stayed in the back, sort of. We started walking to the beach, and Nico was acting
a little bit weird towards me. And in the fact that, like, he wouldn't talk to literally anyone but me. And I was like, okay. I kind of was hinting to go talk to my older cousins because, like, my first thought was like, oh, they're close in age. He's probably gonna just, like, ignore me and my younger cousin. They're probably gonna go do their own thing. And that's fine because all I wanted to do was go to the beach, you know? Kind of, like, asking me questions like, oh, how old are you? And even though I already told him, he asked again, which was kind of weird. And he was like, so, like, are you in school? And, like, what do you like to do? Like, what kind of guys do you like? And I was like, you're literally could be my older brother. So why are you asking me these goofy questions? And so I was just kind of answering his questions, but, like, simple one-word answers because, again, like, this dude is, like, hella old. And when we got into the beach, like, the waves are really harsh in the morning. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's very harsh. And I was, like, kind of getting, like, taken, you know? And he saw that was happening, so what does he do? He grabs my hips and keeps me stable. And I was like, thank you. Like, I don't know what to do, you know? And after that, like, the entire beach trip, just with me the entire time. I didn't see him converse with my older cousins once. So after the beach, like, I kind of started getting, like, the hint that, like, something was going on. Like, this is, like, giving pedophilia. And I was kind of, like, not really telling my cousins, but I was just being like, yeah, he's kind of, like, really, really close to me, you know? And they were like, no, I think you're just being crazy. And no, like, don't come for my cousins. Like, they genuinely just didn't think anything of it because they were so focused on, like, my cousin. Because my cousin was having, like, a thing with his friend. But they were, like, close in age, so it's fine. So they were obviously distracted. But then here comes, like, the really crazy part. Same day as the beach morning. And they were like, let's go for a late night swim. So all my cousins came up to the rooftop pool again. And we're like, okay, like, let's do some, like, Tik Toks and, like, let's drink a little bit. And again, Nico was, like, very much looking at me. I caught him staring at me a couple times, just, like, trying to get my attention. And then he starts coming closer. And there's, like, a little seating area underwater in the pool. So I was just kind of sitting there. And my cousins were, like, over there, like, playing volleyball or something. And I was, like, he was coming closer to me. And he was like, so, you know you're really pretty, right? Oh, my God. I was like, oh, I mean, yeah. I get a kiss on the cheek. And I was like, I don't, like, I'm 15, you know? I just want you to, like, give me a kiss because you're really pretty. I can't really remember exactly what happened, but, like, it was to the point where it was, like, he was saying, like, it's fine, but, like, still trying to get me to do it. Like, my little naive self, I was like, okay, like, maybe if I give him a kiss, he'll go away. No. So I gave him a kiss on the cheek and stuff, and he was, like, he was basically, like, giving me, like, a kiss here, and then, like, he gave me another one here, and then here, and then as soon as he, like, tried to go in, I was like, no, wait. I'm 15 years old. This is wrong. And, like, that's when he kind of, like, backed up a little bit. And then I was, like, really, oh my God, and here's another thing. When that was happening, like, my cousins were, like, playing volleyball, and I was just trying to hint at them to, like, come over and save me. They did not get the hint. But I was like, bro, I was really scared, I'm not gonna lie. And so after that, I kind of just, like, got out of the pool, and I went inside. And he texted me later that night. He's like, I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. And after that, I did not respond to him, like, at all. And the next morning, like, we saw them. Like, the next morning was, like, literally the day we were about to leave. And I saw them. And he, like, waved. And I literally just jumped in the car and I just left. I was like, I am not doing this right now. That was genuinely... There was definitely more details to that, but I honestly cannot remember. My brain is, like, suppressing these memories because I genuinely don't really even remember what happened. I, like, blacked out in the pool, bro. But it was just so weird because he was, like, touching, like, my hips and, like, my thighs underwater. And I was like, oh, my God, get out of my face. But, yeah, that's what happened. And by the way, like, he knew I've said my age multiple times to him, and he just literally did not care, and he was 23 years old. That's very much. So, yeah, after that, I was very much uncomfortable with men for a while, and I knew never to do that again. And to say no. Here's the final look, guys. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It was really crazy, but yeah.
Keep seeing those TikToks and it's like POV, an average day being 14 or 15, and those are so funny to me because they couldn't be more accurate to, like, what happened at my high school. I'm going to talk about some stories that happened when I was that age, and genuinely, I don't know how these were real. And for reference, I was in grade 9, 2021 to 2022, so it was still kind of like COVID, so it was just a crazy time. One of the things that I know, like, no one would really ever do now is that everyone would just fight. Like, if you had a problem with somebody, like, you're not talking it out, you are literally going to go press them. And I remember people would post on their Snap stories, like, where people are. They would be like, oh, blank, scared, whatever. And it was just like, what were we doing? And like I said, it was COVID. So in the morning, we would have one class, and in the afternoon, we'd have another. So only 2 classes. But in between, you would have a 10-minute break.
And during that 10-minute break, I think they were different. Like 11s and 12s had the same one, and then 9s and 10s had the same one. And I remember this is where you were going to beef someone. I personally never really like involve myself in that, but a lot of my friends did, and I still have videos of like girls I'm like super close with still of like them fighting or like pressing someone. It is so funny to watch them back because they don't even have issues anymore. And also, I went to a pretty nice high school. Like, we had no reason to be doing all this. And back to those 2 classes, we would have 4 classes a semester, but they would switch every week. So it would be like 1 and 2, and then next week it would be 3 and 4. You really only met the people in your classes, and you could only socialize with them. So during those breaks and the lunches, people treated it like it was Love Island. I have vivid memories of people like, oh my gosh, blank's talking to blank, like, look over there. Like, it was just crazy. And I feel like since we were just coming off of COVID, we were really immature because we didn't really have that maturity from grade 7 and 8. It was like a bunch of 6th graders, basically. Something weird that was just kind of like to my high school is like we had a pet store right beside like our high school. And I remember people would go and buy like fish. People would buy hamsters. And this one girl, like she released her hamster in the school or something. And it was just like, I don't know. I don't even know. And I'm pretty sure she got suspended for it, but I actually have no idea. I don't think this is a problem after grade 10, but people would consistently destroy the washrooms. Like, and I mean consistently. Apples in the toilet, pads and tampons, like, everywhere, garbage, paper towels, like, it was just disgusting. And thinking to when I was in grade 11 and 12, I don't think the grade 9s that were below us would have done that. I don't know if we just had no fear or, like, what was going on, but yeah. I genuinely feel so bad for the caretakers. Like, that was terrible. Our high school also had so many accounts specific to them. I remember we had this one and it was called Meyer Eats, and it literally had like 500 followers. Maybe not, maybe 200. And basically it was somebody who would just like lurk in the cafeteria and take pictures of you eating. Like teachers, our principal was on there eating an apple, and it was just like a big thing where nobody would want to eat in public at school because they didn't want to get caught lacking on Meyer Eats. And they would post anyone, not just their friends, not whoever, like anyone. Thinking back on it, I never ate in the caf from grade 9 to 10 solely for that reason. We also had like tea accounts and anonymous like confession accounts, and I remember the police had to get involved like a few times because some of these things on this account were so bad. Some of those tea accounts too, they weren't even just like to our high school, like they were just like local to like every single high school in my region. And one thing that I always thought was normal until I got to university is that like people don't only hang out with their high school. Like if somebody was having a party, there would be somebody from like every high school in the region. It wasn't just your school. I guess that's not as normal as I thought it was, but like you're gonna have friends from like 30 minutes away, like somewhere else in the region, and it's just normal. I also remember relationships being so unserious. Like I think there's only a few couples who started dating in grade 9 from my high school that are still together. Maybe, I think literally 2. And I don't even know if they started dating in grade 9 or 10. It's like a completely normal thing for a guy to ask you to be his girlfriend, like, over a text. But the same thing, like, you could break up with him over text the next day, and it would be, like, fine. Also, in relationships, it was, like, if you kissed someone, like, that was the big deal. Like, that was it. Which I think is completely different from what I hear from, like, my younger cousins or just, like, younger girls I know. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Even holding hands was like, oh my gosh, like, I held his hand. Like, it was not, and maybe that's because we didn't have grade 7 or 8, really, but still, I'm, like, shocked. And my mom's a teacher, and she has a lot of teacher friends, so, like, she'll tell me stuff she hears, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because we were not like that. Maybe most important of all, instead of addressing something, you would go on your spam that's, like, not private, and then you would post a TikTok about it. Or you would go on your private story, and you would add somebody who you knew would send it to them, and you would post about it. And that was just how we dealt with things. But that's pretty much it, and if you went to my high school and you think I'm missing something, let me know, but yeah, I would never relive that. You actually couldn't pay me. Bye!
Time on how I met my boyfriend's family. So me and my boyfriend have been together for literally 5 months, and yet I have not met his entire family, at least properly. I've met, like, obviously his mom, his sisters, his nan, but I've never met, like, his auntie, his uncle, his cousins. So today, that is what I did. I didn't know who my boyfriend was, and obviously I don't know his cousins. I don't know what they look like. I didn't even look, but one of his cousins ran into me, and I didn't realize, so I just kind of, like, pushed past her. I didn't, like, touch her or anything. I just kind of was, like, going on about my day. Then I realized it was her, and I was like, oh shit. But, like, it was fine. She's literally lovely. I didn't really speak much because I didn't want anyone to really know that I'm sick. Because I was debating with my boyfriend literally last night. I was like, should I come? Should I not come? Like, I don't know of how sick I am. And I obviously didn't want to make him or his family sick. And we went bowling, which was really nice. We're going to leave. And obviously, because I haven't met these people, I'm saying at the end of my sentence, oh, nice to meet you. I have met his nan around like 4 times. I love her. We get along really well. I go say bye to her and I hug her and I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. And then I pause and I looked at my boyfriend. I was like, oh my god. And my boyfriend looked at me and he was like, you're a fucking idiot. But I don't think she clocked it, so I think I'm fine. But I was so embarrassed because I literally went up to 4 people before her and I was like, oh, nice to meet you, and like hugged them, whatever. Anyway, I love you guys.
Okay, guys, get ready with me. Even though it's 7 o'clock on a school night, get ready with me while I tell you about a annoying ass flirty friendship. You're in for a treat because there's a lot that I have to say. Okay, I'm gonna start by fixing my hair. But, okay, we're just gonna call this friend G. Okay? Okay. Mind you, I'm gay, so like, and G is a girl, by the way. So yeah. Okay, so me and G have known each other since like 5th grade, but we haven't like been friends for that long. We like just became friends like sometime last year. It was like early last year. And so me and this girl, we became like friends, and she was my gay awakening in 5th grade, by the way. So me and this girl, we hang out constantly and we have a trio. It's me, G, and then the other girl, we're just gonna call her C. Okay. So me and my trio, we always hang out. We're always doing something. I'm gonna go in with this moisturizer, by the way. We're always doing something. We're always hanging out. And then me and G will hang out if C can't hang out, you know? So, sometime last year, oh, my hamster's awake. Sometime last year, G was teaching me how to play guitar. And it was just very, like, flirty and very, like, I'm literally falling in love with you watching you do this. Like, my favorite artist is Billie Eilish. She was playing Billie Eilish music. And then, it was like a month later, she starts playing guitar again in front of me, trying to teach me, but, like, she was playing the song first, and it was Lover, You Should Have Come Over. Just remember that. So she starts playing Lover, You Should Have Come Over on the guitar, and my bitch ass starts crying. But, like, mind you, I was already, like, crushing on her at this point, and, like, just seeing her play it was just so fucking beautiful. So I start, like, tearing up. Like, I wasn't, like, literally, like, violently crying, but I was tearing up. And so, as I'm tearing up, she's like, no, don't cry. And she was like, why don't I teach you a little bit? Mind you, this girl can also sing extremely well. Extremely well. She can literally sing exactly like Billie Eilish. I'm so serious. There's not a note change. It's just exactly like Billie Eilish. I've never met anybody that can do that, by the way. So, she starts, like, she taught me how to, like, play, like, a little bit of it, but, like, I'm not, like, that good at guitar yet, but, like, you know. Then she starts playing Wildflower and starts singing it. I learned the chords, so I was playing it, and she was singing it, and just, like, oh my god. I was falling in love, literally, in the moment. So, we keep hanging out. Then, we start holding hands, we start hugging all the time, we're always touching each other, like, you know, like, we always have, like, my hand somewhere, and she always has her hand somewhere, like, just, like, at least skin to skin, you know? Then, I built up the courage to talk to our friend about it, C. And C told me she doesn't want a relationship, and I don't think she likes you, but she thinks you're pretty. I was like, okay, fuck, I'm cooked. Like, I have no way of getting into this. I was like, I guess it's just gonna be the average liking a straight girl, which G is not straight, but it's like the equivalent because she doesn't like me back.
She only sees me as a friend. Then, like, I'd say, like, a month later. Okay. A month. I actually forgot a step. Hold on. Okay. A month later, we're at Guitar Center. And, me and G are sitting in, like, a little guitar room that's, like, all, like, blocked off or whatever, so, like, the sounds really good. And C was off looking at other stuff. I think she was looking at drums at the time. So G starts playing Billie Eilish and Lover, You Should Have Come Over. But whenever she started playing Lover, You Should Have Come Over, like, I obviously started, like, tearing up, because it's literally what I do every single time she plays it. But it's only when she plays it. If I hear the song, I'm fine. It's just when she plays it. I don't know. And she, like, I'll show you how we were sitting. Okay, so it was like a bench. And she was sitting here with her feet off the side. And then I was sitting like this. So, like, she was, like, right here, facing this way. And I was right here, like, looking at her. So she's like this. She moves her feet like this. And she goes like this. And she's, like, looking at me. Like looking at me. And let me tell you what my dumb ass did. I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, she's, like, close as fuck to my face. When I say close, I mean close. So I'm, like, looking at her and I'm like this. I'm just, like, looking at her. And then my dumb ass looks at her lips. I literally looked her up and down. I went, fuck! Like, oh my God. Then, right as I thought we were about to kiss, C walks in. And she goes, what did I miss? No, guys, what did I miss? Like, starts, like profusely wanting to know what she missed, because me and G both looked incredibly, like, I don't even know. So C pulls me out of the room, and she's like, tell me what happened, because I know something happened. I was like, nothing happened. And she was like, did y'all kiss? And I was like, no. I was like, almost, but no. So I was like, so technically nothing happened. She was like, okay. Then she pulls G out of the room, and I was like, fuck, I'm cooked. Because C promised not to tell G what I said to her about whenever I asked her if she liked me. And I was like, fuck, she's gonna know now. But I never asked, like, what she said until the other day. Mind you, this was, like 2 weeks ago. So I asked C the other day. I literally, like, just got back from, like, our huge group hangout. And I asked her, I was like, wait, what did G end up saying? And she said that she would have kissed you if I wouldn't have walked in, that y'all probably would have ended up kissing, but she also didn't want to lead you on. Oh my fuck! Lead me on. I don't care. I would so love to kiss you. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care that, like, if you want to stay friends, we can stay friends, and you just want to kiss. Please. Like, I don't do this with, like, everybody. Like, I'm not a whore. It's just, I've liked this girl for so long, and I've, like, had a crush on her, and just the confusing, like, moments, because she's, like, touchy, and she's flirty, and eye contact, just everything combined. Just, oh my gosh. Mind you, this is the concealer I'm using. It's actually foundation, but I use it as concealer because it has really good coverage. I would really hope that this is entertaining for y'all, because I'm crashing out. So, I don't really know if I have anything left to, like, tell you. So, like, I wrestle C a lot, and, then G was like, C told me, she was like, hey, why don't you ever wrestle G? Like, you always freaking come for me, but you never come for her. And I was like, oh. And then G goes, well, that's because she can't. So I tried to, and she, like, absolutely, like, manhandles the shit out of me. And we also have, like, lists for each other. It's, like, a joke that we have. We have lists for each other, like, what our, like, turn-ons are. And G has, like, barely any for me. But I have, like, a bunch for her. I have a bunch for C. But, like, nobody has many on me. So they really try to figure it out most of the time. And, yeah. But, like, G is just, like, you know what I mean? I'm running out of time. And my phone is about to die. So I think I'm going to end this here. But I just needed to get this off my chest, and I feel like people would understand this. Like, if you're in the Wallowa community, please tell me that you understand this, because I've had, like, so many, like, Wallowa friends that have gone through this exact same situation or something like it.
Stay with me while I tell you about my apartment from hell. So I live in a college town, and when I first moved here, I didn't, like, visit the apartment complex. I just signed with one that seemed to make sense for me at the time, because living in a college town, housing is not, like, the easiest thing to get. So it's, like, one of those things where, like, once I got accepted into physical therapy school, I, like, kind of had to act fast with, like, signing a lease to a place. It ended up being, like, I don't know, one of the most, like, nightmare situations. This apartment complex was literally the worst ever. So this apartment complex is in a college town. It caters towards the, like, school schedule. So leases started and like ended in August, because school year starts in August. So I had called ahead and I was like, hey, my grad school program starts in May. Can I move in May? And they said, yes, but we're going to put you in a temporary unit May to August, and then August you can move into your, like, actual unit and then live there for a year. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. Perfect. I moved in all my furniture because me and my boyfriend had signed for a 2-bed, 1-bath. Unfurnished. I brought all our furniture. I unknowingly opened the door to a 4-bed, 2-bath, fully furnished apartment. So luckily, since I had so many bedrooms, I just shoved all the furniture into, like, the back bedroom, because I'll show you pictures. This apartment had the longest hallway in the world. I was, like, fully convinced that, like, the bedroom at the end of the hallway was haunted. Literally just, like, a big empty open apartment, and I was there all by myself because my boyfriend wasn't moving in with me for a few more months after he finished his job. So I was all by myself in this massive 4-bed, 2-bath apartment, and it was terrifying. I don't think it would have been that scary, except for the fact that the maintenance men at this apartment terrified me. And as a young girl living alone in an apartment with the maintenance men, I was so scared. There was one time where I could hear them knocking on doors down the hallway because they were doing, like, an inspection, all knocking on doors as they were going down, and so I knew they were going to come knock on my door. And then so I was sitting on my couch, like, prepared for them to come in. No knock, lock in my door, swings the door open, and there I am sitting on the couch. And what do these grown men, there's 3 grown men, what do? Laugh to each other about, ha ha ha, we scared her. That's so funny, she was so scared. Excuse me? I'm a 22-year-old girl, and you're laughing that you, as a grown adult old man, scare me. To me, that is just, like, absolutely terrifying and, like, not okay. And so I did. This was the first of my several complaints to the leasing office. They never did anything about any complaint I ever gave to them, is, like, the running theme here. But I was terrified. And then I learned later, my dishwasher had broke, and I put in a maintenance request for my dishwasher, and I don't know, I've lived in several college apartments, before this in my undergrad, before this apartment, after that apartment, and normally when somebody comes to fix something of yours, they tell you that they're coming. They did not ever tell me when they were coming to do, like, a maintenance thing. They would just be in my apartment without me knowing. And that scared me because of the way that they had acted when they learned that I was in the apartment. So they scared me in what they were doing when I wasn't there. They were there to fix my dishwasher, and yet when I was in my bedroom, I was like, things have been moved in here. I had no proof. It was just a feeling, and my room was a fucking mess. It was a disaster. I was only staying in the temporary unit for 3 months and then moving to spend a year in my next apartment, so I didn't really unpack anything. So, like, a lot of my clothes were in bags on the floor, and my room was just a mess. But I could tell that something had been moved. Things on my nightstand were not They were out of place. And I sound like a freak, and I felt like I was crazy telling people that I think that they had moved stuff on my nightstand. And not to say that people were telling me I was wrong, but they're like, are you sure? Like, I don't know. Jumping ahead, probably about a year or two later, after I had already moved out of the apartment complex and into my apartment now, I had downloaded Yik Yak to stay, just to be a little nosy on what's going on my college campus, even though, like, I don't know, I am a grad student, but I still downloaded Yik Yak anyways, because I'm nosy, okay? Well, it turns out, the maintenance men at the apartment complex were caught on camera digging through a girl's underwear drawer and taking her underwear and, like, sniffing her panties and shit. So once I saw that, I felt, like, sick to my stomach because 1,000% they were going through my things. 1,000%. Like, I had the weird suspicion, I had no proof, and somebody else. Which I did buy a camera specifically at this apartment complex because I didn't trust them. And clearly I wasn't the only one. The biggest thing when I was at the temporary unit, there were other things like, I don't know, I would go out into the hallway and there would just be, like, dog poop in the hallway. People would just, like, let their dog shit in the hallway. Here's a picture. Like, that poop was there for a long, long time, and it, like, wasn't the only poop. And, like, also, they would, like, randomly shut the water off, and I remember one time I called maintenance, and I was like, oh my god, like, my water's not working, what's going on? And they were so mean to me. They were like, well, we had to shut it off because we're doing maintenance. And I was like, how was I supposed to know that? She was so mean to me. The front desk people also at this apartment complex were always the nastiest, rudest, bitchiest fucking cunts ever. They were awful every single fucking time. And, like, I'm not someone who, like, complains a lot, but, like, I probably went up and complained at the front desk so many times, and, like, oh my god, they probably blocked my email by the end of it because the things that they were doing were, like, so bad. But they would just randomly shut the water off, and I was like, okay, like, my last apartment complex, if they had to do that, they would send an email and be like, hey guys, we're so sorry, we have to do some maintenance on some pipes, so the water's gonna be shut off for, you know, we don't know how long, but just letting you know, we'll let you know when it's back on. This apartment complex, nothing, radio silence. And I was like, some communication would be nice. That's also a running theme, communication. There was none. But I'm actually low-key running out of time, so this is gonna get, like, really long. So I hate to do it to you, but I'm gonna tell you the rest in part 2. Go to part 2, I'll tell you everything about what happened after I moved into my permanent unit that I lived in for a year.
Hey guys, get ready with me while I do a story time. So I'm gonna clip my hair back because I don't want my hair... Wait, no. I'm not getting ready to go anywhere. I'm getting ready to go to my bed because I'm fucking tired. So basically, I had an ex, right? But she was really mad. Like, I think she actually had issues. Like, I'm actually laughing speaking about it because it's so bad. So it started off like a good relationship and stuff. And I didn't say the red flags at first because I was really young at the time. I think I was about 12 years old. And we were dating. Well, I started liking her like 5 months into the friendship. And then I told her. And she liked me back, but she was straight, which I didn't really understand. But as the friendship went on, she would like really just make jokes that were like not jokes to me. Like, she would take my phone off me and like hide it, which sounds dramatic, but like I told her to stop and she kept taking my phone off me. She would also look for my phone and wait. I had this friend, and I'm not gonna like name names, but I had this friend, and I have like none of this left, so please ignore that. I had this friend and I was speaking to her, and my ex was also there, and she was like, you need to pick her or me. So I obviously picked her because, no, I picked my ex because I didn't like realise like that was bad. Like, I didn't realise it was bad, like that I had to pick between my friend or her. but now I look back at it, that is really weird. And when we did start dating, we kept it like private because she didn't want anyone to know. But my parents didn't know that I was bisexual till like a year after we had been dating. But in 2024 summer, we fell out because I had realised like all the red flags and how she affected me mentally. But I found this new friend and she actually treated me really well. Like she was the best friend like I've ever had. So I obviously blocked her, and she thought I was picking this friend over her. She thought I'd left her for her, but that wasn't even the case. I had wanted to leave her for ages, and I had sent her many paragraphs explaining how I'd felt, but she just clearly didn't take that seriously. She didn't take it seriously till I actually blocked her off everything, and yeah. It took me like at least a month for her to stop messaging me and finally just leaving me alone. But me and my friend, like my best friend that I had become friends with, we ended up falling out because I had told her that I was bisexual and she didn't support that, so we fell out. So I messaged my ex and like said, do you want to hang out again? It was something along the lines of that, but yeah, we started hanging out again, which was the biggest mistake of my life because I just got back into that like trapped like state that I was in. A couple months went by, we ended up becoming public because we started dating again. I've pumped out way too much of this, so now I need to use it all because I don't want to waste it. Yeah, so a couple months went by, we became public because she finally wanted to like come out and she didn't want to hide anymore, which is reasonable. I got really badly bullied in the year 2024, October, November. Like it was actually really bad to the point I would stop going to classes. Like I would be too scared to go outside in case I bumped into anyone. I wouldn't even go outside the bathroom like for lunch. I would just stay in the bathroom and not eat, or I would go in the library and just not eat. Like, it brought my social anxiety way up. And then last year, in July 2025, me and my ex, we were still dating. We had been dating for a really long time. My skincare's done, so I'm basically just going to explain. We had been dating for a really, really long time, and it just started to get worse and worse. But I had obviously been vaping, but she had told me to stop because it's bad for me, and she wanted to quit, so apparently that means I have to quit as well, which makes no sense. But when I was on my holiday, I was in Egypt, and my ex found out that I had been vaping because she used to make me show, like, you know the like people, you can see who you have been messaging, like on like the chart of WhatsApp. She used to always make me send her that to make sure I wasn't messaging like anyone else, like whatever. But then I messaged my dad because he would buy me vapes, and I was like, could you buy me a vape? And I had forgotten to delete that, and you could see it like on his name. She basically told me to cut myself, and she ruined my whole holiday basically because she told me to cut myself and she told me to die. And she said, I wish you had never been born and all that fucking shit, whatever. I basically pretended to be my dad texting her off my phone because I was too scared to message saying, oh, I don't want to be friends. So I basically pretended to be my dad, and I was like, listen, you're not allowed to speak to Sophie anymore because like how you're acting. It didn't work because I ended up just going back to her because I get like really attached to people like really easily. But now I'm not friends with her, I'm not dating her or anything because I've left school now, so I don't need to like see her ever again. And I know she has changed in certain ways, but that's not the point. It's the way she made me feel like at the times. Like I would never go back to her no matter if she changed into the best person ever. So that's your sign to just make sure you're being friends with the right person, or make sure you're dating the right person. Don't just stay with them because they make you feel safe or you're just attached to them. If you see red flags from the start, leave. Don't stay. But yeah, that's it. So bye.
Okay, so come get ready with me when we give you guys a story time on how my ex flaked on me on a date. So I went on the date with a different guy. So the whole like date was gonna be like a triple date, because like we found out that like some of his friends were talking to some of my friends. Story short, me and him were like casi algos, but like, girl, we were serious. Like, we met each other's families, we went to each other's house. Like, girl, it was serious. That shit was basically a fucking relationship. just without the title, you know. So basically, me and him had like stopped talking for like a year, and then me and him found out that like one of my friends was talking to one of his friends, and so then we were just like, oh, like we should all hang out, like we should all go out together. And by that point, me and him had not talked in like, I don't know, like a year maybe. We had not talked in like a really long time. And later we ended up finding out that actually another one of our friends was also talking to another one of their friends. So we were just like, you know what, let's just all hang out all together. Leading up to the day of us hanging out, so we were supposed to go to a haunted corn maze. And like the days leading up to like us hanging out, like me and him kind of started texting again. Honestly, I'm gonna be very honest, me and my friend, we were just doing it for the plot, because girl, let's go have fun. Like the day of, like he kind of like had stopped replying to me, so I was kind of just like, are we still going, are we not going, like are the plans still on, or what's going on? So yeah, so he had stopped replying, like he really wasn't replying to me anymore. And so I had texted him and I was like, hey, like are the plans still on, like are we still going, or like what's going on? His friend also texted him and asked him like, hey, like are you gonna go, or like what's going on, because he wasn't replying. So he ends up telling both me and his friend that like siempre no, he wasn't gonna be able to make it because the day before he had gone out to a party and he had gotten drunk, and like he just had a really bad hangover, so he just didn't feel good and he was just not gonna make it. Anyhow, his friends were just like, you know what, like let's go ahead and let's try to find someone else for her, right? Because also keep in mind, this is gonna sound really confusing, so keep in mind, me and him not together anymore at the time. We had just started talking again, but we were not together anymore, so technically I don't owe this man anything. And then also, yes, it might be a little bit fucked up that I did it, but I don't care, because I don't care. He was a piece of shit. He did me really, really dirty. And then just the girls that he would date, he would also cheat on them. So like, and I'm pretty sure he did the same thing to me too. So, because yeah, we weren't official, but we were exclusive. So yeah, I found out that he would talk to a bunch of other girls, and then he later ended up getting into a relationship right after me and him were together. And then later he tried texting me while he was with her. Like, man's was a whole piece of shit. He deserved it. Well, yeah, so his friends were trying to find someone else that could go ahead and go with me, because they also had a friend that they knew that was interested in me. Like, interesting. Pick some better friends. Well, yeah, so they knew of one of their friends that was like interested in me, and they were like trying to get him to go, but I was like, no. I'm bringing my own dude. I have someone. Because during that time, I had recently stopped talking to this one other guy. Like, we ended on good terms, you know. It was just circumstances about life, you know. It just wasn't, we just weren't gonna work out. So, but I was just like I knew I could still go ahead and text and be like, hey, like, are you down to go on this triple date with me, you know, because I'm really not trying to go like by myself. I'm not trying to fucking like fifth wheel. So I text the other guy. He tells me he's down, so he ends up pulling up, and then yep, I went on the date with, oh, that's a lot of blush. Well, yeah, so I went on that date with a different guy, and like literally in front of his friends, and not a single one of his friends snitched on me. Like, honestly, pick some better friends, because what the fuck. So yeah, not a single of them snitched on me. To this day, that man did not know. I was lucky, kind of hoping his friends would snitch on me, so then it could be like, how, like, fuck you back in the face, you know what I mean, for everything that he did to me. Like, I don't know, I just found it like a funny way just to get a laugh back. Oh my gosh, I look pink. Well, anyway, yeah, I was like really hoping his friends would like snitch on me, because like prior to that, me and him were talking about us getting back together and fixing things. Girl, I never had intentions on fixing things or getting back with this man. But yeah, I was really hoping his friends would snitch on me. They never did, because he never told me anything about that. He like never confronted me, and then also even his friends, Like, we also even just found out that his friends just never snitched on me. Which, honestly, like, I guess, thank you. But like I said, I wanted them to snitch. And then, like, after that, he still kept texting me, trying to fix things and get back together. And I remember there was this one weekend where I was actually supposed to go to his house because, like, his family was, like, having a party. And, like, I was supposed to go to his house, you know, and, like, basically see the whole family again, and like the whole family was gonna know that we were back together. But I remember that day I like ghosted him the entire day, and like I didn't text him. I didn't text him until like, I don't know, I think it was like 10 or like 11 p.m. when I responded. And I basically told him like, oh, like I'm ready for you to come pick me up. And I remember he was really pissed because he was like, oh, like really, Yasmin, really, like why are you texting me so late, this and that. And I'm like, bruh, when we were supposed to go out, like, he literally did not text to let me know until, like, less than 2 hours before we were already supposed to meet up. So I'm like, you want to talk about letting each other know late? Like, you want to talk about letting the other person know extremely late? Like, sir, so when you do it, it's fine, but when I do it, I'm the bad guy. Anywho, well, yeah, I don't know, personally, I don't think I'm, like, an evil person. I don't think I'm messed up or anything. But yeah, I don't know what that man had in him, but he just really brought out the worst in me, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like he would just bring out the evil bitch in me, and I'm not gonna lie, I did some messed up things to him, but honestly, he deserved it. It was his karma. Karma was taking too long. I had to take matters into my own hands. Like, personally, I don't think I'm an asshole to people, but there's just people that deserve it, and then I'm just like, you know what, your karma's taking too long. Let me speed it up for you. Anywho, but yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, other things that, like, I did to that man. I just remembered another thing. First of all, the circle around this dude, horrible. Like, all of y'all are fake to each other. I remember he had this cousin too, and like his cousin had started texting me like on Facebook, was like always like hearting my stories, and like would text me on Instagram as well. And I was like, sir, do you not know who I am? Like, do you not know that I literally used to date your cousin? Yeah, if anyone wants more story times about things that I've done to my ex, or things that my ex did to me, let me know, because I have a lot. Or honestly, just my love life in general, because girl, my love life, she's complicated. Anywho, here's the finished makeup.
Life hack for women scared of men snatching you up off the street at night? Just bike. You'll be able to pedal from the...
Get ready with me while I give yet another dating in New York City update. If you're new here, hello, hi. I got out of a long-term relationship a little over a year ago when I found out that my ex-boyfriend cheated on me. That story time is posted on my page. I moved to New York City in April. I started to dip my toe back into dating when I moved here, and after a series of horrible first dates, which I also have many videos posted about, I actually decided to pause my Hinge account and then eventually delete the app. So after deleting the app, my next update was basically just that I was still seeing 2 guys and I was just gonna see that through, and if it didn't work out, then it is what it is. Well, do I have an update for you guys today? One of them I have always been iffy about from the beginning because he had the same star sign and first name as my ex. My ex went by his middle name though, and also this guy was in the military like my ex, so I was already kind of like, I don't know about this. And it also felt very love bombing. He delivered lunch to my apartment one time, like not him personally, but he like DoorDashed it to me. When my friends were in town visiting, he Apple paid me $50. Thank you, but why? Would tell me that he wanted to take me on vacation. Like, he was doing a lot, and I knew he was doing a lot. I feel like he kind of overestimated my interest in him, so I don't think he knew that I was clocking that he was love bombing me. This feels like an important time to note that I have been on a total of 3 dates with this man. 3. On both the second and third date, I didn't ask. I did not prompt this conversation. He voluntarily tells me that he has not gone on any other dates since meeting me, and that he has deleted Hinge. I made it very clear to him both times that I am still seeing other people. Now, remember when I said that I deleted Hinge? I paused the account and deleted it. I didn't actually delete the account, and so I was like, okay, I should probably re-download it and delete the actual account. In the like 2 weeks that I had deleted it,
Hinge added this new feature called Signals. Signals basically will give you like a purple heart on your profile depending on how active you are. Like there's a few requirements, but you basically cannot get one unless you are actively using the app. And this man told me what? That he deleted Hinge. So why does he have a purple heart next to his name? When I saw that, I literally got so pissed off and I started crashing the fuck out. Not because I want him to be exclusive to me. I'm not exclusive with him. I just don't understand why he lied. Like, this is information that he voluntarily told me. I didn't ask. I didn't want this. Like, so what was the point? That feeling of just like knowing that I've been lied to made me feel so bad about myself. Like, it brought back all the negative feelings that I had when I found out that I got cheated on.
I don't know why my audio cut out here, but I was saying something along the lines of like, yes, obviously this is not the same thing as being cheated on, but it's still just like so completely unnecessary for these men to always be lying. Why are they always lying to me?
It really just does boil down to the fact that it made me feel like shit. Like, I can't really put it into any other words. There was quite literally no need for him to tell me that he wasn't seeing anyone else. Like, I deadass wouldn't have even cared. And then I would have seen that and just been like, okay, yeah, we're both seeing other people. I wouldn't have given a shit. So like, why lie? For obvious reasons, we said bye-bye to that man. Now that we're down to one, as I go on more and more dates with this other guy, I fear that I'm realizing more and more just how avoidant I have become. And I fear I've also met the only man in New York City that actually wants to be in a relationship. Guess we will see where this goes. As always, thank you for getting ready with me. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Remind me of your gender again? Right, you're a boy. These are for girls only.
Okay, haven't done this in so long, but do my makeup with me while I talk about the truth about ASU and, well, why I'm transferring home. Okay, to start off, I do love ASU and I love Tempe. Like, it's not that, like, I'm not gonna be shitting on ASU. Like, I think it's a great school and I do not regret any of the last 2 years here at all. But I just feel like ASU is talked about a lot, like, on social media and stuff, and there's a lot of truth to it and a lot of misconceptions. And now that I'm, like, leaving, I feel like I can explain. So for starters, ASU is a massive school, which can be seen as a pro or a con. When I first came here, that was like one of the reasons I came here, because I wanted to go to such a big school, because I'm a very social person, very outgoing person, so I was like, okay, perfect. Like, the more people, the more opportunity to meet, you know, anyone. Anyway, but yeah, it's the huge school. It's actually the largest public university in the nation, I'm pretty sure. Our undergrad class has around 72,000 students, so like, that's massive, and there's 4 campuses, I believe. So that's a good thing and a bad thing, I would say, because it's like, the more I stayed here, the longer I realized that, like, just because there's more people does not mean that's more of an opportunity to make, like, close connections with people. You know what I mean? Like, you meet a lot of people, but not a lot of close connections. I'm sure, as everyone knows, ASU has a reputation for being a big party school with a very large hookup culture. Okay, there's truth and not truths to this part, I would say. Yes, ASU is a huge party school. Like, I've visited U of A and CU Boulder, which is where I'm actually going next year, and SDSU, and they're all party schools are pretty much the same, you know, with the big frat parties and the DJs and the concerts and, you know. One thing about ASU, though, I would say is, like, within the past 4 years, so a little bit before, like, my class came in, all of our underage bars have been completely, like, raided and shut down, except for, like, there's maybe 2 to 3 sort of good ones that people still go to, but it's just not as fun. So, like, our bar life is dead, which is, like, a lot of people go to U of A on the weekends because they have really, really fun bars there, and they're super chill because it's literally in the middle of nowhere. And that's a lot of fun, but yeah, ASU still has I would say, really lively Greek life. Like, I think our frat parties are really fun. All the philanthropies, date parties, formals. I'm not even in Greek life, but, like, I still experienced everything. And that is still a lot of fun. And the cool thing about ASU is that it's right in between Phoenix and Scottsdale. So, like, there's always, like, there's raves you can go to. There's concerts. Like, we're in the city. There's so many things to go to. And then when you turn 21, you have Old Town Scottsdale and you have Mill Ave that you can, like, party your ass off on. But yeah, I would say ASU is definitely a party school. I don't know if I would rank it as one of the top like, I don't think it's number one anymore because for that reason, because everything's been shut down and like Tempe police is like on our ass about stupid stuff recently. Okay, with ASU being such a big party school, and I'm sure everyone's heard about, you know, the rumors of the hookup culture here, I will say that part's true. I think the hookup culture anywhere these days, I think, is ridiculous. Like, I think it's way too normalized at any of the big party schools. Like, anywhere you go, you're gonna find it. But I do think that it's, like, a little bit cray here. Like, yeah. If you're gonna do it, go have your fun, to each their own. For me, I'm just a little bit too much of a lover girl. I didn't get into it too much as some people did here. It's just not really my thing. But I fully, like, it is a culture shock coming here and then, like, talking to people about it and, like, watching it happen right in front of your eyes. And then and now to me, I was like, oh, that's, like, normal. That's how people, like, are with each other these days. Like, that's just the dating scene, is just one night stands and, like, hooking up with anyone. And I went home and I was talking to my, like, friends from home about it, and they were like, what? Like, no, like, that's gross. And I'm like, wait, maybe that's not normal. So I will say that part of the rumors is confirmed. I'm going to work today, but just ignore the shirt. Anyway, one thing I will say is another truth is the ASU effect. That is true. Like, me and all my other friends, like, when we first started, like, day one freshman year, like, I don't even recognize that person anymore. Like, I look back at pictures and I'm like, I don't do my makeup the same way. My hair is different. I dress completely differently. Like, I have a whole different attitude. Like, the ASU effect is real. And, like, I think it's just because everyone here literally, I'm friends with actual bikini models. Like, some of my friends are genuinely bikini models. Like, I'm not kidding. And you walk into a frat party and everyone is wearing G-string bikinis. Everyone is golden tan, bright blonde hair, like, six-pack abs, big boobs, big butt. Like, and, like, so you have to try to keep up with that standard. And I say try because it's an impossible standard to meet. But the ASU effect is very, very real. And being around girls like that it can be hard sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, this is, like, getting crazy long, so I'm trying to wrap this up. I would say one of the biggest reasons why I am transferring, mostly it's financial, so I can have in-state tuition again. But I've had a hard time at ASU. I have a handful of really good friends, I do. But I will say it can be hard finding, like, genuine people here. Like, I think ASU, it pulls a big crowd from Scottsdale and LA, and, like, a lot of these people come from, you know, a lot of money, or they're just, I've found a lot of entitlement here, and, you know, a lot of people's main priorities here is partying and getting with people, and, like, that's just where they're at right now, which is totally fine. I've been there too, but, like, I just kind of got to a point in my life where I was like, I need emotional intimacy in my relationships, whether that be romantic or friendships, and I just wasn't really getting that. Like, I love partying, but you can't base a whole friendship off of that. And so I just decided it's not worth it for me to take out this many loans for the next 2 years if I'm not, like, in love with the people here. That's besides my friends who I actually do have here. I love you guys. Don't take that personal. Okay, this is crazy long, but anyway, yeah, I'm not even ready for the day. So